Hello, I'm Jared Taylor with American Renaissance. The non-natives are restless. In France, they've been so frisky this month, even President Emmanuel Macron has denounced a kind of unbridled violence among our teenagers, even young ones, although he failed to note certain patterns. The first case was that of Samara, a 14-year-old girl of immigrant origin, as the French like to put it, who attended the Arthur Rimbaud Junior High School in the southern city of Montpellier. She wore makeup and would not cover her head, Muslim style. This provoked some of the other girls repeatedly to call her kufar, which means infidel, and kava, which in English is spelled C-U-N-T. She refused to mend her ways, and so on April 3rd, as she was on her way to this school bus stop, her more observant schoolmates beat her into a coma. Police arrested 3 girls, ages 14 and 15. Samara regained consciousness a week later, terrified, and with no recollection of the attack. The next day, April 4th, a young man was shot and badly wounded at Quimper, near the tip of Brittany. He is a 17-year-old who immigrated illegally in 2021 and quickly became a member of a drug gang. Someone really wanted him out of the way. An as-yet unknown assailant shot him in the stomach, in both legs, and in the back. He survived several surgeries, but will be paralyzed for life, not likely to grow up to be much of a Frenchman. The next day, another young person of immigrant origin, 15-year-old Shamseddine, made the papers. He, too, was a middle schooler who lived in what the French call a sensitive neighborhood south of Paris. He had exchanged flirty text messages with a girl classmate. As he left school, 2 of the girl's brothers, together with 2 adult accomplices, beat him to death. This saved the girl's Islamic honor. The attackers were arrested, as was the girl who was charged with knowing about the attack but doing nothing to stop it. Just 2 days after that, in a sensitive suburb of Tours, where in 732 Charles Martel stopped the Muslim advance in Europe, descendants of the invaders made local news. 3 18-year-olds kidnapped a 15-year-old, beat him up, called up his mother, and demanded a ransom. She arrived with the police, who nabbed the kidnappers. The 15-year-old was no saint, however. He was also a drug dealer and had angered one of the young kidnappers by trying to extort money from his father. The next day, April 9th, in the Alsace village of Achenheim, a 13-year-old Arab girl was riding the bus to school when 4 schoolmates approached her and beat her savagely for not properly observing the Ramadan fast. On April 10th in Bordeaux, a young Afghan asylum seeker saw 2 Algerians drinking wine during the Ramadan fast. He attacked them, but they fought him off. He came back with a knife and stabbed one man 9 times, killing him, and the other 3 times, leaving him badly wounded. Police shot the Afghan. There was another killing that day. A 16-year-old of immigrant origin had got the worst of it in a fight with another immigrant origin teenager. The father of the losing party got up what the press called a punitive expedition to avenge his 16-year-old son. For reinforcements, Dad brought along an older son and a son-in-law. The 4 tracked down the victor of the earlier fight and were correcting him vigorously, when another local teenager named Zakaria stepped in to try to make peace. One of the 4 avengers killed him with a single 8-inch stab wound. Residents later gathered to pay tribute to Zakaria, who was killed trying to stop the fight. He was well liked and not a drug dealer. All this in just the first 2 weeks of April. The Zakaria killing caused a stir because it took place in the south-central French city of Romans-sur-Isère, which came to national attention last November. A group of young men from one of its sensitive neighborhoods went to a country dance in the little village of Crépole not far away. There was friction between the Arabs and the Crépole rugby team, and words were exchanged, including, "We're here to kill some whites." Out came the knives. The whites were unarmed. And before it was over, Thomas Perotto was dead. 8 more were slashed, 2 of whom were rushed to the emergency room. 14 Arabs were arrested. Posters went up in the sensitive neighborhood of Romans-sur-Isère that read, "Thomas, age 16, killed by barbarians." Several mosques were decorated with graffiti that said, "Stop the massacre of the French, self-defense." The mayor of Romans-sur-Isère said the Arabs had committed a racist murder and blamed a culture of delinquency that parents passed down to children. She had to be put under police protection after repeated threats of murder and decapitation. There were, of course, warnings against Islamophobia. But back to this year. In the Oise region north of Paris, on March 27th, a 13-year-old French girl, identified only as Shannon, died after 23 days in the ICU. A 19-year-old she had met on Snapchat raped her and left her in a pool of blood with a gaping wound in her vagina. The rapist-killer claims to be innocent of all violence. I suspect, but no one is saying, that he is of immigrant origin. The French have thus discovered what they call hyperviolence, and this string of horrors, especially the ones with middle school victims, got attention. Emmanuel Macron said, "We stand resolutely against all forms of violence. We must protect the schools." Nicole Belloubet, Minister of Education, blames social media. She wants junior high students to turn in their cell phones when they get to school and pick them up when they leave. Prime Minister Gabriel Attal says children who are on the slippery slope should be put into boarding schools and cut off from bad company. He also wants a mobile school squad that could dash from campus to campus. According to this article, parents in the sensitive neighborhoods say their children run wild because they have nothing else to do. One mother says schools don't need more police, they need mediators and counselors. Humanité, the old Communist Party newspaper, admits that Arabs are a problem, but it's because racists keep them out of good jobs, while capitalism makes them crave luxuries, so they have no choice but to steal and sell drugs. David Morin, professor of political science at the University of Sherbrooke, writes, "For some young French people, violence is a way to be heard, to exist, and to claim full citizenship, not just on paper." He says more police will just start a vicious cycle of more violence, and the solution is to end exclusion and root out inequality and discrimination. These people sound like Americans, don't they? Let me tell you something else that happened this month. Besançon is near the Swiss border, and it held its annual carnival on April 9th. 2 identitarian feminists from the Nemesis Collective decided to make a statement. They hung a banner in town that said, 46 women would have been saved from rape if all expulsion orders from French territory had been carried out in 2023. They also joined a parade and carried signs. One said, "Foreign rapists out," and the other said, "Save us from immigration." The Green Party mayor of Besançon charged them with inciting hatred against immigrants. And the girl who carried the "Foreign Rapists Out" sign was arrested, spent a night in jail, and had her computer confiscated and her apartment searched. Soon, other people started posting pictures of themselves with the message, "Foreign Rapists Out." In the local regional assembly, members of Marine Le Pen's National Rally Party held up signs with the same message, leading the flustered presiding socialist to end the session. The more of these signs we see, the better. Some semblance of sanity may be returning to France. Bruno Retailleau, leader of the Republican Party in the Senate, warned that some French neighborhoods apply Sharia law. "This is political Islam," he said. "Are we living in Tehran, Baghdad?" Virginia Joron, a member of the Euro Parliament for the National Rally, said, "We are being submerged by migrants. The question is not how to spread them around better, it's how to make them leave." Pascal Bordes, who represents the National Rally in the French legislature, says Muslims refuse to integrate and impose their alien way of living on us. It's total submission to immigration. This month, Marion Maréchal, Marine Le Pen's niece and member of the Reconquest Party, told a cheering audience, "Economics are reversible. Demography is not. Once you become a minority, you can no longer live according to your mores and customs." She promised to fight the Great Replacement. And so, unlike us, the French have some elected leaders who know the cost of immigration. The next elections for the European Parliament are just a few weeks away, June 6th. Of all the candidates, the one with the highest rating in all of France is Jordan Bardella, the 28-year-old new head of the National Rally, shown here with Marine Le Pen. He joined the party at age 16 and is now a member of the Euro Parliament. The National Rally is not explicitly racial, but it is explicitly pro-French in a way that goes beyond anything any American politician would say today. Yes, France is still full of traitors and excuse makers, but its non-white population, estimated at 20%, is behaving so badly that French voters might decide they need leaders who believe, as they do, that France must remain French. The elections in June will be an important sign, not just for France, but for all of Europe. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this video channel. Also, because the censors hate my videos, you might send the link to a lot of people. I invite you to visit amren.com, amren.com. You'll find videos, podcasts, discussions, many things I think will interest you. But again, thank you so much for watching.